Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this Photoshop Elements scrapbooking video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to apply corners like this onto your digital scrapbook image, and we'll take this one step further as well and create custom corners like we have down here. Now if you enjoy this video, make sure that you click the like button and also subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn a lot more about how to use Photoshop Elements, take a look at my complete training, and you'll find the links for that in the description. Okay, let's get to it. There are a couple of kinds of corners that you'll find up here. You can place these scrapbooking style corners in here from graphics right down there. And just a few little corner things. And here's a few. There's the black ones and the gold ones and these white ones. Real traditional look. I'll show you how to do that. And then we'll make those custom corners as well. Let's start off with a brand new file in here. So I'm just going to close this one down, get rid of that, and File, New, blank file. And I'll have this set at the US paper size, just standard paper size, which is 8.5 wide by 11 tall. I have my resolution at 300 pixels per inch. Choose OK. There we go. Now if you're not seeing yours floating like that, this is just a little thing that I have mine set up as. Go to Edit, come down to Preferences, General, and right there it says Allow Floating Documents in Expert Mode. Make sure that that's checked, and then you can float your documents or you can dock it just like that. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here one notch. There we are. And let's give this a background. I'll start off with a nice background. I'll just use one of the backgrounds over here on the graphics. Right there, there we go. And I'm looking at this by type, the top here, and then backgrounds. And there are loads of backgrounds in here to choose from, as you can see, just tons and tons of nice backgrounds. You can just scroll through until you find something which you like. Let me just take a look at this one here. Click on it. It then places that background on your page. This one happens to be called Folded Cream. It just looks like paper that has some folds in it, but there are loads of great backgrounds. If you want to use a different background, just click on the background. If you see a little light blue triangle like that, that means that it hasn't been downloaded into your computer yet. It's still up online, so you'll have to have access, online access to do that. If you do, then just click on that. It's going to download it and then place it on your page. It's that fast. It's a real fast process. Now I'm working here in Photoshop Elements 15. So the list of backgrounds is larger here than in previous versions, but this one's available in previous versions as well. So there you go, just a background. But any background that you like is fine. Let's now put a picture in here. Notice that the fold on there is right about halfway on the page. So this is the top half of my page right there. I think I can come in one more notch. I think we're just about at the top page. And let's see. Okay, that's top. There's that. So that's just about at the top of the page. That's fine. And I'll place my first picture in here. File and place. And I just have these two cat pictures in here and some frames that we'll be using. These are both my cats, and you'll find links to download these in the description. Just go ahead and choose place. When I use the place, it comes in, as you can see, full size here to fit the width of the page. And the nice thing about place is if I resize this image, the place command goes back to the original image and then rescales the picture based upon the original. So it retains as much quality as possible. Once you have your position set, just click on the green check mark and put that in place. Okay, there's our top picture. Let's put the second picture underneath this picture. I'll just scroll down and right in here. Looks good. Same thing, file, place, and there's the second picture. Choose place. There we go. And again, I'm just going to grab the corner and pull that down. And I'll scroll up a little bit here so I can see this up against my other pictures so I can get it about the same size. I'm not going to worry about this being exact, but I think close enough. Just like that, looks fine. And again, the green check mark. And then let's just center that about in the bottom part of the page. Looks pretty good right there. Alright, there we go. On the top one, let's put in the corners that you can get or that come with Photoshop Elements. So they're over here. Go over to Backgrounds and come down to Graphics. There we are. Now I'll scroll right to the top. There's the top of the graphics section. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm using the wheel right now on my mouse to just roll down through this list of graphics, just kind of scrolling down using the wheel. Lots of great stuff in here. I've used a lot of these things in my other videos. There's kind of a corner thing right here, kind of a fancy corner that could be used. But we'll do some other stuff. And just keep on scrolling down. There we go. There's our little corners. This time I think I'll use these gold corners. Now these haven't been downloaded yet. Notice that little corner in there, little blue. If I click on one of those, it's going to download that and place it right there. Now this is larger than I want, but we'll fix that in just a bit. I'm just going to put them just kind of in the page. Let's just get each one of these. There's our next one. And there's the next one right there. And click on the last one. And there we go. So there's our 4 corners. And the reason why you want to use all 4 is look at the lighting on these. The lighting is all based on light coming down from the top, and because they're turning, the light is different on each one. So make sure that you use all 4 of these instead of using just one and then just rotate it. You want to use all 4. Let's now go to our layers. And here we go. There's our 4 corner layers. I'll hold the Shift key down, click on the bottom. And now that I have that done, I can scale these all at the same time. I'll just grab that corner and I'll scale that whole set down until I get it about the size that I want. And that looks pretty good right there. Then just choose OK. Now let's come back to each one. If you're not sure which one it is, just click on the Show and Hide button right there. You know which one it is. You can then drag that one in place. Put that one right there. Let's go to our next one. That's right here. That's fine. Just bring that down. Go to our next one. That's right there. Bring that over. There we go. Some nice little gold corners. To make this look a little bit more three-dimensional, we can come in and put a drop shadow on these. I'll start off at the very top layer up here, which is that bottom one, and go up to Layer, come down to Layer Style, Style Settings. In here I'll do a drop shadow on that. Bring my opacity up to, say about 70. I think I'll just type that in there, 70. And I'll bring the distance out to about 10 might be good. And I'm going to change the lighting angle here to my favorite, which is 135, kind of upper left-hand corner. And it's right down there. You can kind of see it. If I show and hide that, you can see that drop shadow now appearing right behind that. And that just helps give it a bit of a three-dimensional effect. Choose OK. Let's now copy that drop shadow onto everything else on this one set. So right where the name is, right click, come down to Copy Layer Style. Let's come down one layer, right click, Paste Layer Style, down a layer, right click, Paste Layer Style, down a layer, right click, Paste Layer Style, and down to here. There we go, that's the top picture. Right click and Paste Layer Style. That just gives it a bit more of a three-dimensional look in there. Make it look a little bit more realistic. So there we go. Now if you do this, I kind of like these being just not exactly in the right place. Like this is off by a little bit, kind of turned just a little bit. I think that looks nice. It looks a bit more natural when you do that. If they're just off by a little bit. If you make them too perfect, it looks just a little bit too perfect and it looks like it hasn't been done by hand. So there it is. That's how you do those corners using the standard techniques here inside of Photoshop Elements. Let's now make custom corners. We'll do that on our bottom one down here. Get some really fancy stuff on this one. Now for this, and that's that picture right here, I'm actually going to take this picture. I'm going to drag that up. There we go. Get it out of the way. We'll come down to this one. Now for this one, we need to bring up a different image inside here. So go up here to Place. It's File, Place. And I have this one here called Frame. Choose Place. Just a bunch of frames, just like that. And then click on the green check mark. We'll be using the one here on the left-hand side. And again, there's a link for this inside of the description. I'll grab the marquee tool right there, rectangular marquee tool. I'm just going to drag a rectangular marquee right around this one frame. I don't want to touch the frame. I'll just be just a little bit outside of the frame, just like that. There we go. and then go up here to Layer, New, Via Copy. And that copies that one off onto its own layer. So I can just hide the rest. We have just that one frame sitting here. There we go. Now at this point you can resize this if you want to make any size that you want, make them larger or smaller, or you can do it after the fact like we did up here on the upper corners. It's up to you on that one. But let me show you how to make that corner shape in here. Let's just zoom in. I'll leave that at the size it's at, and I'll zoom in a little bit like this. Let's hide that background cat, and I'll leave that background layer on there. That's fine. Now I need to copy out parts of this, copy out the corners, just like we copied this frame off of that frame layer. But I want to copy them at a diagonal. Now to do this, to make it look right, go over here to left-hand side onto the ruler. If you're not seeing your rulers, go up to View and make sure that Rulers is selected right there. And then left side, grab that ruler and pull it over here so it comes into the middle of the frame. It should just snap right onto that middle. See, here's our middle point. Here's the middle at the top. If it doesn't snap into the middle, go up to View, and where it says Snap To, make sure Snap To Layers is checked right there. That snaps to items that are on the layers. Okay, that's the first part. Now, the next part, I'll zoom in just a little bit more. Here we're going to make it as easy to see as possible. I want one across here, and I want to have the shape in here be approximately a square. Doesn't need to be exact, but get it as close as you can visually. So I'll just drag this down, and then watching that space inside there, I want to kind of make this into a square, and that looks pretty close. It's not exact, but it's pretty close. It's close enough for this video and for our use. So you want to have that a square inside there. Let's now come down a little bit. Do the same thing at the bottom. I want to have a line across here and then have this square inside that area. So I'll pull our guideline down, and it looks like that's pretty good right there. Now if we're close, these should be pretty close, and I think that is almost exact. Looks like this may be just a little bit off, just a touch. So the space here should be the same as that space there, and they should all be just about right. Now again, if they're off by a little bit in here, it actually improves the look a touch. You don't want these things to be perfectly exact or it looks too fake. You want to have a bit of a kind of a sloppiness to it, just a little bit, so that it has a bit more of a natural look to it. Okay, now that we have our guidelines, let's put guidelines around the outside. We have our lines out there that we copied before. Let's pull a guideline in. Now the outside lines, these are the ones that were made when we made our selection, copying the frame off of our frame layer down below. That's what we're looking at there. So you want to have that when you first make that selection, have it in pretty close, not touching your frame, but pretty close to the frame, and about even clear around. And we just put guidelines on those lines so that we now have guides around the outside and then guides inside, giving us squares in each of those four corners. Now, go over here to our lassos, grab the polygonal lasso. We have snap is on, that's all, we already checked that. Then come to the corner right out here, click, drag up to the upper corner, click, go to this corner. Notice how this kind of snaps onto that line so it stays nice and put. Click on that cross right there, and then come down and click back on the first corner. It should snap right into that corner for you. Click there so it selects just that corner area. Now go up to Layer and New, Via Copy. There it is. Let's go back to our first layer. Same thing on this side. I'll start in the middle this time and just click, pull it over, click, pull it down, click, and then diagonal back to our starting point. Layer, New, Via Copy. Let's scroll down a little bit, back to our frame layer. Same thing on the left hand side. Click here, click in the corner, click right there, and then diagonal, and click. There we go. Layer, New, Via Copy. And one more time, back to the frame layer here. I'll start in the center, click over to the corner, click up here, click, and then the diagonal, and click, and finally Layer, New, Via Copy. Now if I hide the original frame layer here, you'll see that we have just the corners right there. At this point, we can hide our guidelines. Let's go up here to View, and let's uncheck Guides. Let's scroll down, bring our cat picture back up again. There we are. Let's zoom out. I'll just hold the Alt key down, and we'll zoom out a little bit like that. We can now grab these corners and move them into position. So let's see what we got. There's our upper left-hand corner right there. This one is the upper right-hand corner. So I'll grab that right on the frame itself. Just grab it and just drag it over. Put it about there. Looks pretty good. Let's come down a little bit. That's the bottom left. I'll just drag that down into place. And this will be the bottom right. Grab that and drag that down into place. And there we go. Nice custom corners. If you want to kind of really carefully position these, and see how it's kind of just popping around, kind of snapping into spots there. It's actually following the document grid on that. So to get these more exact, go up to View, come down to Snap To, and let's uncheck Layers and View, Snap To. Let's uncheck Document Bounds, and you should be able to position that more carefully. See, it's not snapping any place now, so I can be a little bit more specific on where I want that. And I'll just kind of fine-tune these positions. Just move them in just a little bit. There we go, kind of like right there. That looks nice. And our first one, bring that in just a little bit. There we go. Now I like having these drop shadows on there, so let's go ahead and we'll redo our drop shadows on this. And I'll start off with the top one, which is right there. Same thing as before. Layer, come down to Layer Style. Go over here to Style Settings, Drop Shadow. I had my opacity set at 70. Distance was set at 10. We still have our same angle on there. That's fine. Choose OK. You can see there's a little bit of a drop shadow in there. Okay, and again, same thing. We're on this layer. Right-click, and then copy layer style, and then come down one layer at a time. Right-click, paste, right-click, paste, right-click, paste, and then down to our cat picture right here. Right-click and paste, and there we go. Let's just hide our tools, and there it is. There's our custom corners this time, made from that frame picture that we had. So it's a real easy way to actually make this kind of custom corners. Looks really nice on a digital scrapbook page, as you can see. If we zoom out a bit, fit on screen, and let's just hide those tools again. There it is, just real nice little custom corners, and it looks like these were actually pasted onto this page in here. So kind of a very authentic look on this one with this digital scrapbooking effect. Again, the top one is using the corners that come with Photoshop Elements, and on the bottom one we made these custom corners from a picture of a frame. Now that we have it this far, let's take this picture just a little bit further, make it a little bit more interesting. I'm going to take the picture down here. This is the bottom cat picture, of course. I'm going to drag this up until it's just underneath the corners. There we are. Now click on the top corner and then come down to the cat picture, and then I'll click on the links. These are all now linked together and they'll all act as one unit. So I'm going to push it to the left just a little bit, and I'll come just outside the corner there. See that kind of bent arrow? I can now pull that around a little bit and just give it a little bit of a twist. There we go. Little 6.05 twist on that one. Let's do the same thing kind of up on the top layer. And we have our top corner and the cat picture right there. Same thing, as click on those links. They're all now linked together, and they'll go ahead and they'll act the same. And again, come out just outside. We can rotate this around a little bit, and I'll pull it down over here just a touch, and then it's come down to our other layers. The nice thing about having these things linked is I can click on any one of the layers and they'll all work together. So I'm just going to move it just a little bit so I'm not overlapping right down there. And there we go. A little bit of an artistic twist on that, and that kind of finishes off this video here by putting in these corners. One last little touch I think I'm going to do, just looking at this now. I'm going to unlink these. You can unlink it by just unclicking on those. And this top left corner, I think that's in too close to the picture. So let's just zoom in a little bit. I'll pull that one out just a touch. It just feels like it's a little too close. And I'll just pull it out just a bit. I think that's better. Okay, let's go ahead, fit on screen again. That's nicer. I like that better. So there we go. And that finishes off then this tutorial on how to put in these fancy corners so it looks like you've actually kind of pasted these pictures onto an actual page. So there it is. That is the Photoshop Elements scrapbooking corner effect. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.